Okay.
My name is Alec.
My name is James.
And I'm Jacob.
And this is Ready.
Aim.
Fire.
Why do we want to be financially independent?
It's a good question.
It's a very good question.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give you an obvious answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because why not? Why wouldn't you want financial freedom?
That's good.
This is true. Yeah.
But they can go more into it.
It's very clear to us why we would want it, but for some viewers out there and listeners, it might not be as clear.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say personally, because I want to do what I want to do. I want to, my personal dream as of right now in 2021 is to retire early as a rugby coach. I love rugby and I love to travel and I love to learn about things. So like when I hit my F.I.R.E number, I want to do that. That's why I want to be financially independent.
And as you said, F.I., just go ahead and explain to the viewers what F.I. means.
F.I., financial independence, is basically when you hit your number of your investment goals that you can live off of 4%. According to the Trinity study, the 4% rule is like a guideline. Once you hit that number where you can withdraw 4% of your investments every year and live off of that, or at least supplement what income you're not earning, then you can do whatever you want to do at that point. That's what I mean by F.I., financially independent.
Right. So for my goal, really, is to have the option to be financially free, where you don't have the choice. Like you have the choice where you don't have to work anymore. Like you have that option. But obviously, if I was to reach that goal before the age of retirement, I would still work, honestly. But just having that option on not to would be a huge relief. If anything, I'd probably do part-time. But like I stated in the first episode, I'd be probably aiming towards some type of entrepreneurship, like a business of some sort. Go that route, see how that goes. But all of us have different reasons, Someone in the world might want to do it just so they can completely retire and not have to work at a very young age. Yeah. And some people, they just love money so much, they want to have that option and still continue to work.
And see, my financial independence, my goal for financial independence would be retire early, get a sailboat, sail around the world. But also part of that is starting a nonprofit. Specifically, for those of you who don't know, viewers, my goal is to obtain a doctorate degree in clinical psychology. And I want to start a nonprofit organization where I can travel around and assist children who are experiencing dysfunction in their daily lives with mental disabilities and such.
That's great.
It really is.
Yeah, and I think that you're well on your way to that. We're all starting our paths to financial independence. James, you just recently got your internship, right?
Yep. So I'm not going to really state the company just for security purposes, just because we're new to this and I don't really know like the full disclosure of legal issues or situations. So long story short, I've been waiting on this intern for probably almost a year. So present day, if you're watching this video, COVID's a thing. And it's still a thing. I mean, it's not as bad, but I was offered that intern before COVID was even a thing in the U.S., period. And my long-term goal was originally FBI, and Alec knew about that because we were, he's a double major, criminology and psychology, and we took a few classes together, but we were between either FBI or U.S. Marshals and some other stuff like that, somewhere in the federal business. And that was still my goal until I was blessed with an opportunity that was dropped at my feet, basically, from connections that I knew. And they were like, yeah, I just hired this guy that does, such and such. And I think you'd be really great at it because you naturally do that anyways. Like you have that natural mindset for it. And so I asked about it and I said, all right, cool. Ask the person if he can intern me. and he agreed. Really, I know it's a long story, so I'm just going to shorten it right here. He got overwhelmed with work. They realized he needs help, and that's when the company decided, hey, bring up some
We
candidates,
need James.
interview them, and pick your people. And so I'm going to start on June 1st, 2021, after we come back from this man's bachelor party. He's
Yep.
getting married, by the way.
Thank you.
Congratulations, congratulations.
Congratulations on your job.
No, thank you, thank you.
Yeah,
It's
congrats.
been
Thank you for your service.
Thank you
very
for your service.
it's been a very long going process, but that just shows, within time, patience, and if you just stick with it, it will eventually come to you.
Mhm.
And so what the job is operational excellence management. So in other words, like logistics, and it uses Lean Six Sigma courses, and pretty much you just try to find ways to make the industry more efficient, and you save them money. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
You're gonna be good at it.
Yep.
I'm proud of you.
Especially doing this podcast, you're gonna be learning a lot of stuff about saving money. And
Yeah.
So one more point I think I want to make. You're starting your journey. We're
Mhm.
all kind of somewhere on our journey. Everybody's on their journey somehow. But people get on the journey for FI for lots of different reasons.
Mhm.
I think there's two main reasons that come to mind when I'm just pondering why I want to do what I want to do. What we want, obviously, is the freedom aspect. We want to be able to do what we want to do and kind of mold our lives around our passions. And financial independence helps us do that. But I think another aspect is the opposite is fear. Some people come to want financial independence by fear of the unknown, what's going to happen. You talk about COVID, and we don't ever know what's going to happen. And so having that big chunk put away that's earning you money really is like a safety wall against the unknown.
Mhm.
Like I think it's a less and less well kept secret these days that Social Security is not really going to be there for us when it's time for us to retire according to the standards that are normal in the U.S. And so I think while we're looking at the freedom aspect, a lot of people look at this from the fear aspect of what's going to happen. Social Security is not going to be there for me. I haven't saved enough. I don't have the plan that I want.
Things for retirement, whatever it's 401k or investments or anything like that. My girlfriend's father told me this, and he's into real estate investments, and he's also a scientist too at that point. And he told me, he was like, he looked at some stat chart because statistically shown people around, even at like around age 45 to 50, they don't even have like, I can't remember the exact number. Like I said, you can Google it, but it's like, it would shock you. They don't even have like 10 grand maybe to save. Like they don't have nowhere near where they should be at that age. Because most Americans, they want to buy,
Consumer
procrastinate, wait until the last minute to start saving, preparing for your future. And I mean, honestly, that didn't shock me one bit. It's like that's the American, that's their thought process.
The lifestyle that most people buy into.
I'm gonna caveat off that, and I'm gonna say that I know someone personally who is a lot older than myself, who you'd expect with a six-figure income to be pretty well off, which they are. But it's scary when my net worth meaning the total amount of money that you have minus your debts, my net worth is far greater than theirs. And we're talking about someone in their soon, like mid to late 50s, who's making a six-figure job. And that's scary.
You're a college student in grad school trying to work at the same time.
It's exactly right.
Penny pushing. He's penny pushing.
I am penny pushing. I'm in grad school, working two jobs, one with the military, one with a long care service. I don't make that much money. And for me, I understand, they got bills and such, and that's understandable. A lot more bills than I do. but also there should be no reason why someone with a 6-figure job has
a lower net worth.
Has a lower net worth than someone who's making a little bit less than 20 a year.
Which reminds me, kind of a segue into our next topic that we wanted to discuss. Savings rates. So, how is it that people like us, who whether new grads or people who are still in school, are able to plan logically to achieve financial independence, as we were talking about doing the things we wanted to do, by an age of your mid to late 30s, which I think that's what you are on track for, right, Alec?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I am too.
Roughly
as of right now.
And so, with that being said, exactly what age did you start?
So I started my financial journey 3 years ago. It's like 3.5. Oh, maybe it was pretty.
And that would put you at what age?
So 2018. Oh gosh, you're gonna make me do math. I was roughly 20.
Okay, and then what about you?
I think I was a few months behind him because I was waiting on my my 1 year anniversary at work so that I could start investing in my 401k.
So I'm just now starting. I mean, I've started a little bit, but not as much as I should be, and I would admit that. But that's also for like other personal reasons too, working a part-time job, paying for school, and paying for my own bills and stuff like that as well. But now, hopefully, I've started. Not where I want to be at the moment, but it's going to get there, especially once I make this intern a permanent thing. And once that starts to kick in, man, that right there, it's going to be a life changer. So we're all different age groups here, and we're all like, they're fairly close, and I'm kind of falling in behind. I'm probably starting like a year later than they did, but we're going to see where it goes from there.
Yeah, savings rates are insanely important as far as getting your financial independence, getting to your goal. You talked about the average savings rate of Americans, and what I can find, basically, according to Statistica.com, is like the average savings rate over the past 60 years is about 8% for Americans. About 8%.
8%.
And does it show how much they would have saved by whatever age?
It doesn't say that, but comparing to numbers that you see in the F.I.R.E community, it's ridiculously low.
I can jump in here and say that if you have a savings rate of 10%, it would take you 51 years to get $1 million.
And that's based off what salary? Do you know?
Oh, that's a good question. I do not know. My little beautiful chart doesn't tell me.
Oh man, that's unfortunate.
But I'm
sure it's based on the U.S. average salary.
So we can
Yeah, this says, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, it's about 36.
36.
Round up
$36,000
as of 2019.
Roughly, you're looking at about at a 10% savings rate. So if the average savings rate is 8%, it's even more years than this. But with 10%, you're looking at 51 years.
It's a long time.
20%.
That's the majority of your life working.
Yes. Yep. Now, once we amp this up, when we're talking about financial independence and retiring early, we're talking about changing our savings rate to a higher percentage. And so you got 10%, 51 years. You got 20% is looking at 37 years. 30% is looking at 28 years. 40% is 22 years. 50% is 17. 60% is 13. And 70% is 9. Now, I can tell you 70% savings rate is very difficult.
Pretty much.
I tried it. I think the highest I got on my savings rate was 85% for.
I'm nowhere near that right
rough,
now, but
well, I was doing it for roughly, I want to say 5 months. It was
Mhm.
the summer where lawn care is just really ramped up, and I
Right.
was like, you know what, I'm gonna make it a mission of mine
Right.
to go 85% and just go for it.
sounds like you.
Let me tell you how difficult that was. It was for a penny pusher who shops at Dollar Tree
With a part-time job.
with a I got a full-time job, a part-time job. Man, it is difficult. So I mean, but if you're making six figures, your
You should
You
be.
don't
Well,
have-
you should
your
be.
85% is probably a lot better than what mine is. You
Right.
know,
If
my
you're-
85% is
If you're
low.
making, you think about those numbers. So at the 50%, it was what, 13 years?
No, 17.
17 years.
60% is
So
13.
50%, if we're going according to the national average, which
Mm-hmm.
would be, roughly around 17, 18 grand.
Mhm.
Right.
You double that essentially for somebody who's making twice the national average, which if you are in a household of two and you are working together on that,
And that's not even 6 figures yet.
right.
That's
Like you could cut that in half. Granted, you are providing for more people at that point,
right.
Yeah.
but at the same time, if you're both living under the same roof
Mhm.
and using the same vehicles, and that it kind of shortens the cost, so you can hit that FI number a lot quicker.
I can
Oh,
tell you
yeah.
right now, especially from my personal experience, and he will experience this here shortly once he moves in, but obviously different incomes and everything like that. But even when he said double, you're not even hitting 6 figures.
Yeah.
Like you're around 60.
That's doubling the national
like,
average, which is relatively
Yeah.
low.
And so my girlfriend and I, like I said before, we live together. And so the way we do things now, just because we're not making that much money, she's a server and I'm working full time on base, blah blah blah, not making that much money, right? We split everything in half. And me tell you what, it is so much cheaper when you just go that way. Now, obviously, when we start making more money, because she's still in school, she's a junior. Once we start making more money, that's when we're gonna probably be a little smarter on the bills, on who does what, or we may just stick with splitting really everything in half because that seems to work perfectly. Because we live in the same place, we're using the same electricity, the same internet, groceries. Those are the only things we split. So rent, utilities, groceries, and internet. So those 4 things right there, we split. And let me tell you what, that's most of your bills just gone. Like it is like it decreases a lot. So it's very doable.
What is your savings percentage?
So so like I said before, I had a lot more bills, personal issues. Something tragic happened, and it had nothing to do with me, but unfortunately it had something to do with me. And I had to pay that off, and I've been paying it off for probably about 2 years, and I finally just paid it all off.
Nice.
And so that was the thing. I was pouring most of my income, especially because at the time I was part time.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
and paying for school and other stuff, right? And extra activities like rugby. I was pouring most of my income into trying to hurry up and get that paid off. So if I had to take a guess, because at that time I wouldn't even know. If I had to take a guess, it was probably around the 10%, if that. But now, since I recently paid it off this year with this new with the job I'm at now, I would say it's probably 15, which it could be better, because I'm still trying to pay off one more thing. And then after that, that's pretty much it. And it's just the road from there, the road to success, especially with this new job. When this new job comes in, and especially if I make it permanent and the pay gets even better, then I tell you what, man, my goal on the percentage is going to be between 40 and 50.
Just don't let that
Nice.
lifestyle inflation get to you, man.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
And so, like I said, everyone else in their journey is going to experience different things. But the quicker you pay off that debt, the better that you're off. So it doesn't matter if you're starting out and you're at 10% or if you're at 0%, because you're paying off anything else. get that paid off as soon as possible so you can focus that money that you're paying towards that debt into your savings.
And that's a good spot to end this episode. Next, let's see, 2 weeks from now, we're going to be talking a little bit more about
how to get started.
Specifically, and we're going to talk a little bit about some of the books we've read and some of the experiences that we've had, and the reasons kind of why we're getting into these specific funds. So yeah, my name's Alec.
My name is James.
My name is Jacob.
And this is Ready,
Aim,
Fire.
We appreciate you.
See you
like,
next time.
subscribe, comment, I'll do all that stuff.